Howdy, folks. Welcome, welcome to the last session of the last day of Ignite. Really glad to have you guys here. Did you know you're missing happy hour? Well, now you know. We feel the love. Thank you guys for coming. So this session is I got to read it because there's so many words. This session is Fortified Security and Simplicity Come Together with Microsoft Intune. I'm Jason Rozak, our Chief Product Officer for Intune. In this session, we're going to do it a little bit different than the first one. We're going to double-click, show you guys more demos, talk less strategy, and actually get into the product. So to help us through today's session, I want to introduce you guys to the team.
Hi, folks. I'm Dilip Radhakrishnan. I lead the Intune product team for Intune Security and Intune Suite. Oh, thank you.
Yes. Hey everyone, I'm Archana Devi Sundarajan, and I'm the product management leader for our data and AI efforts.
Hello everyone, I'm Sangeeta Vishweshwaran, Sangi. I am a director of engineering in Intune. I could be the director of Intune.
All right, guys. Well, we've got a lot of content, so with that, let's go ahead and kick it off. So we've got three main topics we're going to cover today. The first is cloud native endpoint management. When we think cloud native, we're not just thinking mobile. We're thinking mobile, we're thinking Windows, we're thinking Mac, we're thinking Linux. If you guys haven't looked beyond mobile and Windows, we've got a lot of new things to share for you there today. The second thing we're going to talk through is Intune Suite. The interesting thing with Intune Suite is it really gives you an opportunity to not just simplify and consolidate your management, but look holistically at all the tools you're using. So Dilip's going to take you guys through a Suite demo and walk you through the latest there. And I would be remiss if we didn't cover it in this session. How many of you have heard of AI today? About 100 billion times. So Archana and Sangi are going to walk you guys through our AI aspirations, what's coming first, how you can participate in the beta. So with that, let's kick it off. The first thing I wanted to chat about is cloud native. So if you guys heard Steve's session yesterday, I wanted to be a bit more bold in our proclamation. You know, historically, we've given people the opportunity to meet you where you are with co-management. And we've seen great success with co-management. But as we look to the future is cloud native. That cloud native foundation is going to set you up for AI, it's going to set you up for the best possible Windows experience, and it's going to lay the foundation for everything that we do. So I really wanted to encourage you guys, if you haven't thought about going to a fully cloud native strategy, now is the time to start thinking about that. Now, one thing Steve didn't discuss yesterday is, if cloud native is the destination, how do we get there? So I wanted to share this slide. Three simple steps to get to cloud native. The first, move all of your workloads to the cloud. Don't just bump over one workload, swing all the workloads over. Patch, applications, policy, compliance, all from the cloud. Steve talked about some of the benefits with attestation, richer patching with Windows Update for Business and the new drivers and firmware. You're going to see those investments. So the first thing we recommend you do, swing all of those workloads over to the cloud. The second thing we recommend you do is take your existing Windows devices, co-manage them and hybrid DJ them, and get all of those workloads from the cloud. As you refresh those devices or reset those devices, make those devices new devices. And as part of your new device deployment, go fully cloud native. Go all the way AADJ, go all the way Intune, don't co-manage. The last thing I would say on this too, where we've seen people have great success, Windows 11. If you guys are looking for an inflection point to start cloud native from scratch, Windows 11 is a great opportunity. So this is a simple blueprint for how to get to cloud native. Come see us afterwards and we'll talk about it in a bit more detail. Now, guys, I looked at the metrics yesterday. We've got over 50 million seats that are cloud native. Cloud native, pure cloud. And this is a great testimonial from one of our customers, Ericsson, and the benefits that they experience from their journey to cloud native. So guys, I just really want to reinforce this. Please consider cloud native as your path forward. That is the direction of the product, and that's where you're going to get the best experience. Now, when we think cloud native, we're not just thinking Windows. So if you guys haven't seen what we've done on Mac, I would give everybody in the audience a challenge. give us the Pepsi challenge. I'm a Coke guy, I'm an Atlanta boy, that hurts me to say, but if you haven't looked at us for Mac in the last 6 months, now is the time. Likewise, if you've got Linux and developers, you can bring those in. And we've tried to build this in such a way, if you're already used to managing Windows with us, sliding in Mac should be relatively easy. The second piece, how many of you have frontline workers? Okay, good. I'd probably say 40% of the audience. If you haven't looked at our latest with frontline workers, have a look there too. From shared device mode, Zebra FODA, we'll get into that. But we really think you have an opportunity to bring your frontline and information workers together. And then finally, when we think about simplification, we're thinking about unifying the onboarding experience. So I want to show you guys a new demo of some of the latest enrollment flows we have to help you there. So with that, let's take a look at Mac a little bit further. A lot of these terms may look familiar, maybe not. A lot of these are Apple terms. I wanted to give you guys an idea of the breadth of capabilities we've added for Mac. So yesterday, Jeff, AKA Pinky, did a demo of Mac to walk you through Platform SSO. Platform SSO, the SSO extension, we fully integrated. What that lets you do, you create one account with Intra, and it bridges together your local account and that Intra account. So that was one of the single biggest asks we had from customers, help with that local account management. The second piece is complex apps. This is where we heard all the feedback from customers. No way I can use Intune until you guys figure this complex app thing out. We've added complex PKGs directly to the product. I'm going to show you a demo of that next. And then the last one is policy. So with declarative policy updates, we're going to give you 0-day, same-day support for any new policy that Apple releases. So you don't have to wait for weeks, months at a time. When Apple releases that policy, you're going to get it. So let me show you a quick demo of what this looks like. So this is the portal. You're going to see you have the new option to upload a PKG. When you add that PKG to the console, it's going to be just like any other app. Now, as part of the app settings, you can add a pre-install script or a post-install script. So in this scenario, we've got Defender. In order to turn on Defender, I've got to drop a system extensions policy, I've got to update my privacy policy, I've got to push an activation XML to silently launch it. You can do all of that in the pre-script. In the post, if you need to do something like activate a license key, you can do that. So this is what your user will see. So now that we've got the pre and post script with the complex PKG, you see that Microsoft Defender gets added to the device. In this scenario, for the demo, we wrote a TXT file output, but you can make this do anything. It could be registering a license, it could be prompting a user, but we auto-activate Defender right there. The second piece I'm showing you is the new declarative policy update. So if you look under software updates, we pull these directly from Apple. So when Apple publishes a new DDF, we pull it directly into Intune. This is the new software updates capability. So software updates let you schedule and install time down to the second for your users. So I can say, Jason has to install this patch by Saturday at 12 p.m. When you do that, you can also give the user all of the information you see here on the screen. So Apple information about the patch, you can redirect them to Apple's website where they can learn more. If you guys want to put a support help desk phone number in, you can do all of that, but it lets you customize what that user sees. So the big things there, you've got complex PKG support now, you've got pre and post script, you've got all the onboarding with Platform SSO, and you have every policy that Apple offers. So if you guys don't feel like we're ready for Mac, I would love to talk to you after this and better understand why. Sound good? All right. The next thing I want to talk about is shared devices and frontline workers. So a lot of you have retail devices, aviation devices, manufacturing devices, all types of scenarios. The number one thing we've heard from folks is, hey, I need these devices to support in shared scenarios. And more importantly, I need the Office apps to work in shared scenarios. That is actually, believe it or not, a really hard challenge. You guys think about it, I'm in Teams, I get a notification. How do I wipe the Teams notification when Jason gets the device and hands it to Dilip? That's what we built with shared device mode. It does three things. It gives you a global sign-in. You sign in one time, then you're authenticated to all of the apps after. It gives you a global sign-out. You sign out of one Office app, and we do a data cleanup for all of the other apps. And it gives you conditional access for every user. So if these devices are swapping hands a million times a shift, you now have shared device mode to enable that, and I'll show you a demo. The second thing we've done is introduce specialty device and line of business app support. If you guys are using RealWear or MetaQuest or any of the AR, VR devices, you'll notice one thing about them. They don't have a Google Play Store. Those devices are what we call non-GMS, so you can't get apps to them. We've added line of business support now where you can deliver those apps outside of the Play Store directly through Intune. And then the third thing I would highlight off this slide is Zebra FOTA. So if you guys want to do firmware updates along with the operating system and apps, you can now do that. And then finally, we refresh the managed home screen. So guys, again, if you haven't looked at us for Frontline Worker lately, check that out. But here's a quick demo of what shared device mode looks like. I open Teams, I authenticate one time. Once I get that authentication finished, I'm done. When I open the rest of the Office apps, I don't have to re-authenticate. So here we've gotten inside Teams. Now we navigate over to Outlook. You can see we're auto-logged into Outlook. I, of course, sped the demo video up, but I don't have to do anything additional. I've got access to my email. When I sign out, this triggers the data cleanup process. So with that sign out, you fully clean up all of your data. We delete notifications, we hang up calls, we fully purge it of any private data to get it ready for the next user. This integrates with Managed Home Screen, any launcher, any of those. So message here, guys, if you haven't checked it out, check us out for Frontline Worker. That's my ask number 2. Sound good? All right. So I am curious to see if you guys are as passionate about this as I am. So when I joined Microsoft 18 months ago, I enrolled my phone. Guess me how many steps it took? 42 steps. Guess where I got confused? I think step 6. Maybe I made it to step 11. I honestly don't recall. So we've introduced something called web enrollment. Guys, if you haven't seen web enrollment for iOS, go check it out immediately. What web enrollment does is cut this into a third. So you don't need to install Company Portal for web enrollment. With web enrollment, you go directly to the M365 app. You open Outlook. It says, hey, Jason, you need to get managed. From the Outlook web viewer, we've embedded the Company Portal web view. So right there, I enroll. The other thing you don't have to do, a lot of the challenge I had when I enrolled into Microsoft was I authenticated to Outlook, then Company Portal, then Authenticator, then Defender, and then I got access. We've introduced something called zero-touch provisioning. Guess what zero-touch provisioning does? You don't have to authenticate to Authenticator. You don't have to authenticate to Defender. We auto-provision all of these things. So now you can fully deploy all of the security apps with one single authentication. So guys, this takes you from 40 steps to 10 steps. Thank you, right? I think it's just, we're not just simplifying your life, we're trying to simplify your user. So I'll show you what this looks like. We got Teams, we authenticate to Teams. Once we get done with that, we pick our account. You'll see this is the Company Portal. The Company Portal was directly inside of Teams. I go through the normal Apple steps to add the management profile. When I get done with that, I go back to Teams, and I'm fully authenticated. So we didn't make you download Company Portal, redirect you to get another app. Directly from Teams, we did the MDM enrollment. Now that it's enrolled, we go into Teams. You can see you're all set. And we're going to provision down Authenticator and Defender in the back end. So right now, we're installing Authenticator. You notice when I open Defender, I didn't have to authenticate. We provisioned it down with zero-touch provisioning and all of its credentials. So there's lots of documentation. If you haven't checked it out, please, please, please go check out web enrollment. Third ask. I'm very needy today. All right. So with that, guys, that covers most of the updates with management. But when we think about simplification, it's not just management. We also want to help you with some of your adjacent problems. So with that, I want to introduce my pal Dilip to take you through Intune Suite.
Thanks, Jason. So with Intune, we manage more than 180 million devices. So when we launched the Intune Suite services in March, we've had a phenomenal uptake thanks to customers like you who've already deployed Intune or deploying Intune, taking advantage of some of the mission-critical services. So the first service we introduced was remote help. So in this era after COVID, where hybrid work has become the new norm, your IT teams are remote, your end users are remote. How do you get the best IT management experience to remotely troubleshoot those devices? That's what Remote Help offers. Endpoint privilege management is another service that's been really having a huge positive response, especially a lot of customers who have been hit by ransomware and who've been protecting themselves against those kind of attacks, want to make sure that all their users, including their application developers, that's the hardest population to remove the local admin rights from. So we at Microsoft have majority of our engineers are all developers, but we are removing local admin privileges from every developer workstation as well. So endpoint privilege management is the product that lets you do that. And then for those of your customers, a lot of more than 100 million of your mobile devices are using Intune MAM service, where we have a very lightweight management, where we manage the application and data and not the entire device through MDM stack. But in those MAM managed devices, we have a lot of customers who require access from the mobile phone, from those applications to connect to their line of business app on-prem through a micro VPN tunnel. That's what the tunnel product does. And then Jason talked a little bit about the specialty devices that we also manage. I also want to mention that every Microsoft Teams rooms that you purchase and manage also gets powered through Intune and Intune Suite. So those are the services that we introduced and that are live in market and customers are using. The question I get asked most is, hey, Dilip, that's like half the value. What about the rest of the suite? So we are glad to announce that there are 3 new services that are coming to Intune Suite at no additional cost than the suite price that we already declared. So those 3 services are the Microsoft Intune Advanced Analytics service. So that's coming, all these 3 services are coming to market in February. So the analytics service, you're going to see Sangi and Archana do a really cool demo of the capabilities that are coming with that, right? So we want to make sure that from all your endpoints, we can harvest rich data and give you insights that's going to make your IT teams more efficient. The second thing, most sought after feature from our customers is application patching, right? So with Intune, you can do a good job with Windows and Office patching, but when it comes to third-party apps, there's a big gap. So what we do with the enterprise application management is to make sure that we give you a rich catalog, and we're going to walk through a demo of what that experience looks like for patching vulnerabilities in those apps. And last but not least, another super popular request from our customers is the Cloud PKI service. Because you have a lot of customers that have said, hey, today I've moved my Exchange to on-prem to Exchange Online, SharePoint to SharePoint Online and OneDrive, SCCM I'm moving to Intune, but why do I have to manage all my complex PKI infrastructure on-prem with ADCS? So that's been a great gap that our customers have been calling for, a solution, and we have a pretty good solution in the market that I'll show a demo of how in like 30 seconds you can move some of those on-prem resources to the cloud. So, and it's not about always launching new services. Intune is a cloud service. We've been updating our service every month, and Intune Suite is no exception. So we're also going a lot of ongoing enhancements every month for the things that we launched. One of the things, for example, that's coming in March is also the support for government customers to have a government cloud support as well. So with that, I'm going to just jump into a series of demos. So Remote Help, I already told you, it's a service that is all about making sure our IT teams are securely connecting to on-prem resources, especially for troubleshooting. The key word here is security, right? What is a hacker's delight is to get full access to some PC in your enterprise, because with that they can harvest additional admin credentials during troubleshooting sessions and then go and exfiltrate into the rest of the network. So what we can do there is, with Intune, with Remote Help, we've made sure that security is built in. So if you looked at our Windows experience, we're deeply integrated with the Entra identity stack. And we made sure that when privilege elevation happens, it is only as required and only for the duration of session. We also have very rich auditing capabilities that we've built. So on top of that, the most common demand that we got from our customers is, that's great for Windows, but what about cross-plat? So with this, this month, we introduced our support for Mac. So with Intune Remote Help, you can see that I can go in and look at the devices. There's a MacBook there. A user with a MacBook has called help desk and needs some help desk support. So you can see that there is a remote help session. I can directly start that from Intune. It'll ask the end user, hey, are you okay if your IT team wants to go access this device, right? Do you want to allow sharing to happen? Once you do that, it's as simple as that. The connection gets established for your Mac, so the IT help desk is able to remotely troubleshoot this device. So what you can do is, with this release, we have given screen sharing. We are actively working on full control support as well. So we expect that to come in early in 2024. So beyond Mac, we also support Android. So in Android, we have gone one level deeper because we see Android tablets not just used by information workers, but also as specialty devices where there is no person on the other side where I can have an unattended control needed on those sessions. So you can see that those are the three options. So in this case, I'm going to request full control. So I can directly connect from the Intune console, to, in this case, to a Samsung device. And then I can get the whole session hosted within the Intune console. So you can directly go and see what's happening there on the device and take full control of this device and troubleshoot that issue. So from an end user perspective, we also make sure that the privacy is honored. So you get, as an end user, if you're helping support an end user on the other side, there's an option for them to accept and decline, and they can choose to do full control or just screen sharing as well. So with that, those are the capabilities that we've added to Remote Help. Let's take a look at endpoint privilege management. So endpoint privilege management, the main problem that we're trying to solve is to balance security and IT, right? Every time the security knobs are tightened, there's an impact on end user productivity. So how do we make sure that there's a great balance? The key thing that helps us do that is, today, security says that the best way to do Windows desktop management is to make sure that you only run it as standard user. But when you run it as a standard user, some of your line of business apps are going to break. So let's go back to the application developer scenario. Say Sangi here is our engineering director. She needs Visual Studio to run on her device, and she wants to do coding. But if she's running as a standard user, those applications don't work. So what we've done is, in Intune, instead of elevating the end user privilege, we associate the privilege to an application. So in this case, Visual Studio or Adobe or whatever app that the user wants to install with elevated privileges. So in Intune, you'll come in and create a elevation rules policy. The key thing I want to call out here is there are three modes in which elevation will happen. Option one, you have a choice to say is, okay, I trust Sangi, she's the director on Intune, so automatically elevate when she's trying to launch Visual Studio. So that's option A. So option B is user confirmed. So in which case, you have to give a justification as a user, why do you need this app? And we'll audit it, track it, but then we'll let you elevate it, right? And then third option is support approved. So this is a case that you route it to the support team, and then they'll have to explicitly approve. So the first two are already in market, and the support approved is what we have in preview. So let me show how that experience looks like. So in this particular case, what happens before I run the demo is, this Office setup requires elevated privileges. And if you're just run as a standard user, this particular user would have been blocked by UAC prompt saying you don't have permissions to run because you're a standard user. But with this new experience that we have built, so you can see that when they click it, and I have an EPM policy applied, now you can see that there is a screen. We intercept the UAC prompt and then ask you to write your business justification on why you need this. So they put it in, and now instead of it going, it goes and creates a ticket, an elevation request. So we can go and see the person in the IT team is looking at the details and then saying, I'm approving this request. And here's the reason I'm resolving this ticket. And then the elevation approval goes through. Once that happens, automatically when the end user runs with elevated access, this time the install goes through. So you can see that we have tracked this, we've logged it, that this request came in, somebody approved it, so you have audits to prove that this request came in. So that's the current state of the product, and where we are going is to add a lot more automation, so you can send email notifications, maybe connect with ServiceNow and have that workflow closed if you're using a ticketing system externally. So that's the endpoint privilege management. Moving on, the third demo I want to quickly show is the Cloud PKI service. As I mentioned to you, Cloud PKI is pretty complex. On-prem PKI is super complex to do, right? So if you look at it, you have to set up certificate authority on-prem with issuing CA and root CAs, right? You have to keep those servers up to date and patched. You have to make sure that your team, your security team, is already testing and validating this infrastructure all the time. And then you also have to worry about the whole life cycle of management. Because most of the time, PKI is one setup is kind of quiet behind the scene, but hell breaks loose when an app starts failing because a certificate had expired. And that's when people realize, oh gosh, and then they go try to fix it. So with all this infrastructure issues that you have to do to maintain, not only don't forget that how complicated SCEP servers and Endus servers are, the number of people with those expertise are kind of dwindling too. So what we have done here is to implement a completely cloud-based PKI and SCEP service. So let's see how we can do that. So instead of doing all those servers and the workflow that you saw in the previous slide, you can see that I can come into Intune and create a cloud PKI, a certificate authority. So I'm going to say I'm going to create an issuing CA. So you can come in and see that this issuing CA is chained to a root CA, and it has a validity period I set for 5 years. Then I provide all the organizational details that are required for my certificate authority to be functioning. So my organization unit, country, locality, all those industry standard attributes that will be there. So once you've done that, you choose the most important thing, which is what is your key size and algorithm that you want to use for issuing certificates. And that's it, as simple as that. You have all those details, save. Like literally, you can see on top, you refresh, and you have a certificate authority in the cloud. Right? So it's as simple as within 20 seconds, you got a new CA. So I go and look at the properties, then I can take all the CRL distribution points, everything, all the information. The most important one there is the SCEP URI. So you can copy that and then use that later in the SCEP profiles. So for example, I come here, the SCEP profile, you can go in and see that this is the primary case, like the SCEP URLs. I copy that over, and that's it. So then at that point, when you start connecting this to your on-prem, the cloud PKI service, you don't need an on-prem PKI, right? So you can directly go to your Wi-Fi certificates, VPN, and then start associating the SCEP profile, and then these certificates are immediately issued. So you can look at the certificates, and then you can also do the whole lifecycle management, right? You can issue certificates, I can revoke certificates, all from this simple console. So your entire certificate management lifecycle is being automated and moved to the cloud. So this is a service that will require some partnership with your identity counterparts. In some cases, the identity team manages that, but you can work together end to end and show them how simple it is to enable this. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Jason to talk about the enterprise app management.
That cloud PKI is pretty awesome. I got to give the guys credit for that. All right, enterprise app management. How many of you have seen it? Okay, only a few hands, awesome. So guys, with enterprise app management, we're trying to accomplish 3 things. 1, we want to simplify packaging. We don't want you to have to go search the internet, download an app, bundle it as an XE, convert it to a WIM, upload it to Intune, and deploy it to your device. You should have one click button to deploy the app. The second thing we want to do is make the vulnerability management process easier. What I hear from folks today is they get an email from their security team. Hey, IT person, there's a vulnerability with this app. You've got 14 days to remediate it. We don't want you guys to have to learn about vulnerabilities from your security team. We want you to get an alert directly in the console and give you an easy button to update that app. And then finally, we want to help you integrate more closely with your security team and connect our app management capabilities to Defender so you can start automating the most important vulnerabilities first. So let me show you a quick demo of what this is going to look like. So if we get started, this is your process today. You've gone to the internet, you found an app, you downloaded that app. You've added that app to a folder. You copied and pasted your various command line parameters. Now you've gone and put the application in another folder and converted that to an Intune WIM. Guys, this is a lot of work just to deploy an app. And frankly, it's busy work. It's not work that benefits anybody. So what we're trying to do is give you an easier way. Introducing the easier way. So I go inside the Intune console, I add an app like I always have, but you're going to see a new category, Windows Catalog Win32 apps. This is a pre-curated catalog of all of your Win32 apps. You can search it, find the application you want, and once you select the application, it's already pre-configured with all the metadata. You don't need to put install params, silence switches, all of that stuff is already there. Now the second thing we're doing, you'll see in the blue, there's an updates available and is superseded. This is to let you know there's a new version. So within 48 hours of a new Adobe coming out or a new whatever coming out, you're going to get an alert directly in the console. Hey Jason, there's a new version. Do you want to deploy it? You simply say yes. We're going to go update all of your applications for you. So guys, this is not the fanciest demo I've ever done, but that's kind of the whole point. We want to give you a very easy button. Pick the app you want. When there's an update for the app, select the update, and move on. This will be coming in February as well. Now, guys, you know, it's been interesting. Up until now, we've talked a lot about simplicity. I kind of want to take a look to the future and talk about what's coming next. So with that, Archana is going to join us and talk about transformation with Copilot and AI.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. All right, everybody ready for the future? The future is here, okay? And you know, it's the last session. We wanted to make it a little fun for you. But the future starts with the fundamentals, right? And that's really what Intune does an excellent job at. And the reason is we manage over 170 million devices and users. And just to put that in context, that's 4 times more than anyone else, right? And what that really means is there's this enormous amount of data and context that we have that we can now build analytics on. And you know, we already have over 40% of that using endpoint analytics, which is part of Intune already. And so today we are really looking at, you know, how can we build on that? And so again, we start with the fundamentals, which is the data, and it's really about making the data available and also making the data useful to you to make sure it's exactly what you're looking for. So part of our data focus is really making sure you have custom attributes that you really care about available to you. And then once we have the data, it's about building the end-to-end context, right? We want to be able to give you the ability to access the data when you need it. We want to give you the intelligence that you can use, not just raw data, but the context and the information from the data that we can present. And then we want to make it actionable so you can actually take automated action. So I'm going to talk about advanced analytics, which we've announced during Ignite. Let's take Sarah, our IT admin, who is looking to do a few things. She wants holistic visibility. And the most important thing is holistic visibility when she wants it, right, on demand. Secondly, you know, it's kind of old school to have to discover issues after they happen. What if we could give you insights before it becomes a widespread issue? So really preemptively detecting issues. And then ultimately, the goal is to efficiently troubleshoot and remediate issues so the users can be returned to productivity as quickly as possible. So I'm going to show you a few details about these features. So the first one is the real-time device query. And this is really the capability where Sarah can get holistic visibility when she wants it by really querying the device near real time to really get information from the device. And what's cool is, you know, she can get information about volatile entities, for example, what processes are running on the device, and really help troubleshoot when she needs it. And so Sangi is going to show us an awesome demo where you'll see this in action. The second piece is the preemptive part. Getting anomalies detected across your devices can be invaluable. To take an example, even before we released advanced analytics, one of our customers said they used endpoint analytics to actually detect a problem they had in their environment. So they saw an application crashing, and it was weird because this application crashed only for certain users. And so when they went into endpoint analytics, what they noticed was the same device had a VPN software running. And every time this application tried to update itself and it tried to make a server connection, it crashed. And so looking at endpoint analytics data, they were able to find that out and then resolve the issue. But what if we could give you that insight without having to go dig into the data, right? And that's what anomaly detection does. So now we will alert you on app crashes, for example. And not only that, we will correlate across your devices and give you insights on which other devices are being impacted by a similar situation. And the cool thing is you will see not only the devices that have already been impacted, but also devices that may be at risk. So you can proactively go take action and ensure those devices do not encounter the same issue. So this really helps you be more proactive, and really, you know, our focus is to shift left, right? Really get you ahead instead of behind of what's going on in your enterprise. Okay, third and very key capability that a lot of customers have asked us is they really want hardware insights. So we are introducing battery insights as the first step, and we'll build on this. But really, it's about understanding what the battery life is on the device, is it ready for replacement, and really getting ahead of the warranties so you can save money for your enterprise. So these are some of the analytics capabilities we've introduced, but seeing is believing, and seeing is awesome, so Sangi is going to come and show us a demo of this. Sangi.
Thanks, Archana. Think about this, folks. Have you ever had a time where you just wanted to come into work in the morning, grab your coffee, and right away know all the things that's happening in your environment that need your attention, instead of digging through your email or looking at help desk tickets, escalations, or the 80 different dashboards that you have to look at, correlating IDs to get all this information? I see a lot of nods here, and I'm assuming there are nods in online too. There is a better way to do this. Our advanced analytics anomaly detection system does that. It provides an early warning mechanism where there's a single place to understand all the things that seem off in your environment. You can rely on this to learn about very impactful issues even before they get to you through other channels. Let's see how we get you there. Anomalies show up on the overview pane in the endpoint analytics node. And we only show you anomalies with high confidence based on their severity, basically based on their impact to your productivity. So let's take a specific example. Let's take the third line in here. We see there's an app regression anomaly, and it's medium severity. And we get more information as we go into it. Now you know there's an anomaly, but where do you start your investigations? The device cohorts feature. Scroll down, and you will get a list of AI-generated potential root causes. That begins the basis of your investigations. In this case, there is a driver version issue potentially, or an app version issue, which was VS Code. And if you dig further, you will also see devices that are at risk for this anomaly and devices that are affected by this anomaly. So you remember these categories for now. I'll come back later on a different demo for these. Okay, what's the logical next step? Is for me to go into this device further to understand what is going on. Can I figure out what drivers issues are happening? What is the VS Code issue happening? Introducing device query. I can go directly to the device and find out information right away. In this case, I want to go detect what is going on with that VS Code application that anomaly was happening about. So I construct a Kusto query, and I ask for information about this Visual Studio Code app. When I run this, it is directly reaching to the device, and it found that version, that same version that was called out, and I noticed something else. There is an update that seems to be pretty old. So most likely, it's missing a quality update, and that's highly likely to be the cause for that anomaly. Now, anomaly detection raised awareness to me about an issue in my environment. Device cohort gave me a starting point to find out what's going on for my investigations, and device query helped me complete my investigation by showing me the root cause. Thank you. But wait, that's not all. This is not, it's not just troubleshooting that device query can help us with. Device query can help in many scenarios. Let's think of patching, for example, right? You send patches to devices. And Rozak and Dilip just spoke about all the enhancements we are making to make this patching experience great. So inevitably, 90% of the devices are going to get the patches. But you've not had a good solution for that last 10%. What do you do now? You're probably writing reports, building complex queries, using your Power BI skills, and jumping whatever hoops to get to the last 10%. Device query can make that simple. Let's see how. Go to the device query node and look at all this beautiful inventory information that you see on the left that you didn't have before. Let's come to the patching scenario. The first thing that you want to find out is how many devices have been impacted by or don't have this patch. So I write my Kusto query, and I run it, And it's going to give me a list of devices that don't have the patch. Looks like I have a number of devices that don't have the patch. I don't know orders of magnitude, tens, hundreds. So let me tweak the query. And I'm going to say, tell me how many devices. So summarize by count. So in this case, when it runs, it's going to tell me there are 122 devices that don't have the patch. Great. All you experienced IT admins know, just getting the list of devices is no good. You want to know why it doesn't have the patch and how to fix it. So first, let's see all the devices that have checked in recently and that haven't. And it looks like most of the devices have checked in. So 121 devices have checked in. So let's find out what is the most common reason that usually patches don't get applied. They have a pending reboot. So let's add to the query. Let's find out all the devices that are pending a reboot. When I tweak my query and I run it, I get to see that there are 9 devices that are pending reboot. So I'm going to add more to find out what are these 9 devices that have checked in the last 1 day and that are pending reboot. And when I run that query, it's going to give me the 9 devices that are pending reboot. And from right here, I can go to this reboot action and get those devices rebooted. How cool. OK, that took care of 9 devices. We still have a lot of other devices that need to be fixed. Highly likely second reason, the update services are not running. So let's find out in how many devices the update services are not running. That's a lot of devices, most likely the rest of them. So once I find out from right here, I can go do the remediation action. And this is a common enough remediation action that we would have a one-click stop where you can repair the Windows Update services and remediate the last 10% that you've been struggling with all this time. How cool is that? Thank you. Okay. With that, I'm going to bring Archana back to talk about more cooler AI stuff. And I'll be back after.
Awesome. Thank you, Sangi. Wasn't that cool, or what? So by the way, folks, we have previews running for what you just saw, advanced analytics, and we also have preview for what I'm going to talk next coming up. And if you are interested in expressing interest, there's going to be a link in the chat. It's only going to be available for this live audience in the room and online, so you can sign up using the link if you're interested. OK, how many of you heard about Copilot? All right. We want you dreaming Copilot, so I'm going to talk about Copilot, OK? So you already heard all our announcements. Security Copilot was announced earlier this year. The Intune team jumped in. We really wanted to bring AI capabilities to our audience, our IT admins. But first, we started with saying, how can Intune data support the SOC, right? So we brought Intune data and skills to support the SOC analysts, for example, for incident investigation, incident enrichment, for securing the strengthening the security posture, right? So we brought our Intune capabilities for the SOC. Next step, we announced at Ignite yesterday. We are bringing generative AI within the Intune console for IT admins. And we're going to bring it to where you are so you can use it for all the work that you need to do. And then finally, one of the biggest beautiful things about Copilot is it's really unlocked the data across products. What we're seeing is Copilot can reason over data across all the products, across the Microsoft security portfolio, and really unlock new scenarios and use cases. So this is something that we are really excited about, and you'll see us bringing a lot of these capabilities to life as we go through this. So we announced an early access program on October 10th. And this has been available for a few weeks now. And at Ignite, we've announced our IT admin and help desk focused use cases. And we're going to continue to evolve this. But first, I want to talk about our approach on how we are thinking about designing generative AI, right? We really wanted to meet you where you are, meet our admins where they are so that they can use it in their day-to-day workflows. Secondly, we really want to simplify the complex. We really want to remove the complexity from the day and really help them get their job done easily and faster. And thirdly, we want to make sure that it helps them focus on what's important and really do value-added tasks, right? Leave the mundane and things that the machine can do to the machine. And then let us focus on the human creativity and see what humans can do beyond what AI can already do, right? So that's really our focus, and that's the principles we are gearing towards as we design this. Now, I have to say, with all humility, we are still very early in this process. AI is new. Just when you felt like you learned everything in the world, here's this AI thing that comes out. And so we are still very early. We are eager to hear, as you use AI, what you're seeing and what you think is useful. We are eager to learn and partner with you as we develop this. Okay, but we already know it's really good at a few things. Number one, to really speed up your day, right? By being swift, imagine within a few seconds to be able to reason over all the device data and to provide insights. It's just amazing. It's basically time saving and can really help you get to things quickly. Secondly, it really helps you get to better outcomes. So when you are, for example, constructing a policy, you can already figure out if that policy is going to work well on your device or not before you deploy it, right? So you can really make better informed decisions. And finally, really simplifying the complex so that you can actually get to do more advanced tasks as you work through this. Okay, so Sangi is going to demo two things. I'm just going to give you a quick preface. One is policy creation. Here, as I mentioned, Copilot can really help you construct the policy because it's now seeing all this data. It has the full context of your devices and users. It can really construct the policy for you. But remember, it's an AI assistant. You should still review it. You may want to tweak it before you actually deploy it. Secondly, you can, the most popular demo you've probably seen is a chat type interface on the side. But that's not the only way you can use generative AI. We are looking to bring AI within the console wherever it can be helpful. For example, there will be tooltips right where you're using the console that could provide you some insights and intelligence. And thirdly, like I said, it can really do what-if analysis to help you proactively recognize if this policy is going to work on your device or not, right? So these are all amazing capabilities that we see AI being very good at. The other area that we are seeing a lot of power with AI is really troubleshooting. So quickly grasping what's going on, quickly understanding how to troubleshoot. And the other cool thing with AI is it really gives you a lot of descriptive information. So rather than trying to read through code or read through raw data and figuring it out, it gives you the information on a plate so you can quickly take action. So there's a number of capabilities that you see here. And this is just an example. There's a lot more we can do. And this is just an example of how AI can really help. But with that, again, seeing is believing. We'll get Sangi back. Now, a lot of times, once you've seen these slides, you probably think, I'm going to be skeptical about AI. There's all this promise about AI. Is this just hype? But I think your mind will be blown when you see the demos. It's quite amazing how simple it can make your life. So with that, Sangi, back to you.
We are about 2 minutes over. Can we just take 2 minutes for the last demo?
The web stream may end, but we can do it for the room.
Okay, we'll be quick. I'm going to skip over one, and I'm going to show you just the last. So lots of cool Copilot stuff that Archana talked about. One thing that I want you all to know is we are bringing all these Copilot capabilities to all your favorite Intune features. For example, let's take the example of the one that I showed you, the device query, where you can directly go into the device and you can write your Kusto query language. I'm sure when I was demoing that and you all are thinking, that looks really cool, but I have to learn another query language? Or you were wondering all the properties on the side, I don't know what to query on. Let Copilot do it for you. So we have our security Copilot that is going to enable you to bring your questions in natural language to Copilot, and we will create the Kusto query for you. So in this case, I'm going to, okay. In this case, I'm going to get Copilot to just ask a question like, show me information about the Visual Studio Code app. Okay, I'll keep talking as it thinks through this. And when I'm asking this question to Copilot, it is thinking through it, and it's creating a Kusto query for me in natural language that I've provided. And that query, I can edit it, and I can review it. When I'm ready to go, I click run, and it's going to execute it just like it did in the previous demo and get all the goodness of the Copilot experience with the whole experience without having to learn another query language. I'm going to bring Rozak back in to bring us home.
Hey guys, sorry for going a little bit over. Great job, Sangi. All right, so quick last two, call to action. If you haven't tried Intune Suite, it's got a 90-day free trial. Turn it on, check out Intune Suite. Sangi and Archana are opening up the preview for Copilot. Get in the preview, check out Copilot. Lots of other great sessions. If you missed yesterday's, check it out. There's deep dives on EAM. Please join us, and thank you all for sticking with us, and enjoy your final day in the happy hour afterwards. Thank you.